Hello everyone and welcome to another video of Python playlist. In this video, we are going to discuss another important topic without which our programming journey is kind of incomplete so far. The topic we are going to cover in this video is called as loops. So the first question that must be popping onto your mind is, what are loops in programming? A loop basically enables a particular set of condition or statement to be executed repeatedly until the conditions is satisfied. Now in case of Python, there are two kinds of loop, the first being for loop and the second being while loop. The basic definition of loop is applicable for both of them. The only difference is present in the way that is implemented. So the next question that must be popping onto your mind is, why do we need to use loops? So let's take an example in here. Suppose I am asking you to print 5 numbers from 1 to 5. So you guys could easily write 5 print statement, one for each number. But what if I'm asking you to print the first 100 or first 1000 numbers? Now this is going to be too tiring, right? Because this is basically waste of your effort, redundancy of code, and waste of your time. So how could you guys achieve that? You guys could achieve it by writing a loop for which will be running 1000 times and doing the same task, that is the print, each and every time. Now, without delaying any further, let's get started with the explanation of what for loop is, how for loop works with the help of a flowchart. Now on your screen you can see a flowchart. So in case of for loop, the first thing we are going to do is initialize a variable against which we are going to check whether the condition is getting satisfied or not. So the first step, initialize a variable. Second step, we are going to check the condition, if the condition is true. In case it is true, it is going to execute the set of statements that is present inside the for block. It will be incrementing or decrementing the initialized variable to check whether the condition is still true or not. In case the condition is still true, it will follow on the loop. It will execute the statement again. It will decrement or increment the variable. It will again check with the condition. In case it is false, it is going to exit from the loop and it will go to the end for, that is, it will end the for loop. Now the explanation is same for all programming languages, irrespective of you are using C, Python, JavaScript, anything. For loop works the same way in all programming languages. So what is the difference? The difference is basically present in the syntax. So without delaying any further, let's talk about the syntax in case of Python. On your screen you could see the syntax, that is for variable in sequence operations / statements. Now variable here is the initialization which we talked about in the earlier flowchart. This is basically what we are going to check against our condition, whether the condition is met or not. Sequence is basically whatever we are going to iterate it through. The sequence can be a list, it can be a dictionary, it can be a tuple, it can be a set, range, string, anything. And colon is important. Now again remember, if you are missing out the colon, then you are going to get some error. So don't forget to write the colon at the end of a for loop. And inside that we could see some execute statements is written. This statement could be anything. Now in the previous example I asked you to print 100 numbers, so this could be a print. Suppose I am asking you to calculate sum of all numbers that is present below 1000. So you could write a sum statement, that is a plus statement in here. So it could be anything or any statement that you want to repeat over and over until the condition meets. So just as the definition said for loop, it is used for repetition of statements or iterating over a sequence until the condition or the sequence ends. So let's write the same code that we talked about earlier, the one where I told you to print 100 elements. So let's do this. For I in range of 100, we are going to print I. Now I will explain you what range keyword is, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's try to run this first. And there you go. It will be printing elements from 0 until it reaches 99. It is just same as slice that we have talked about earlier. And let me show you the syntax of range keyword before that. So the syntax is pretty simple. It is range, the start index, the stop index, and the iterator. So this is what the range keyword looks like. Just as we discussed in case of slice, we are going to pass the start index which is included in the range. We are going to pass the stop index which is not included in the range. It is one element less than whatever we are passing in the stop. And the iterator, which is again going to iterate, or again it is going to jump over the number that we are specifying between the start and the stop index. So by default start index is 0 and iterator is 1. But we could specify it by passing 3 parameters in here. Now I have given 100 in here, that means I have only passed the end index. So it is going to calculate number from 0 until 100 minus 1, that is 99, and it is going to iterate one by one. So let's try to give Another one, we want 100 to 201 and with an increment of 2 in here. And let's try to print this, what is happening. And there we go, you can see it is printing only the even number starting from 100 and until 200 because we are not including 201 in case of here. So let's talk about a few other examples so that you get a clarity. Suppose I want to traverse through a list. Let's make a list of numbers, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 0. Okay, I want to print all the elements that is present in the list. For I in L, print I, and let's try to print this. And there we go, you could see after 200 it is printing 1 2 3 4 5 until 0. Now I will also explain you a certain keywords using which you could stop the loop or skip over elements before it actually comes or meets the condition. So don't worry about that. Let's try to take another example in here. Suppose I'm taking a string bold coding. Let's try to iterate through all the characters that is present in the string here. So for I in S, we are going to print I. And let's try to run this. And there we go, you can see it is iterating all the characters, that is BOLTCODING in here, and it is printing each and single character inclusive the space, because space is also a character in here. So talking about the time complexity of running a for loop, it could be considered as O of n, where n is the number of times our loop is running. So in this case, the n could be the length of the string. In this case, it could be the length of the list. And in this particular case, it is basically 100, not 100, it's basically 50, where it is running 50 times. Now, while using loops, there are two most commonly used keywords which we'll be hearing out. The first one is break and the second one is continue. Now, break is basically a statement that allows us to break or stop the loop before it really meets the end condition. So, what is continue? Continue is a statement that is used to skip the current iteration and directly jump into the next iteration. I will explain this to you with the help of an example, so bear with me. So here you can see L is basically a list, it is having different elements. For I in L, I am basically iterating throughout the list and I am printing the value I. So how is it different? Now as you can see, there is a if condition in here. If I equal to 24 break. Now what does this program will do? Whenever it reaches the element or whenever the counter or the variable I reaches at 24, it is going to check whether I is 24 or not. In case it is 24, it will exit the loop. So what is this program going to do? It is going to print all the elements that is present before 24. Let's try to run this and test this out. And there we go, it is coming 1, 7 and 49 in here. So this is how a break statement works. So let's take another example for our continue statement. So this is the code that I have pasted it in here. Let's try to run this first and I will explain you what this particularly do. Okay, as you can see, it is running fine. So here L is basically a list of various elements, that is odd and even element mixed. I am iterating throughout the list in here. I am checking if I modulo 2 is equal to 0. What does this particular thing does? It is basically going to divide the element that is I in here with 2 and it is going to store the remainder. So if remainder is 0, that means the element is even. So if the element is even, we are skipping that element, but in case it is odd, we are printing it out. So let's test this. And you can see here it is printing 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 only. You can see 2, 6, 8, 12 and 32. All these elements are getting skipped. So this is how we are going to use a continue statement. So that's all for this video. In the upcoming videos, we are going to talk about for else, nested for loop and while loops. I hope you like the video so far, and in case you find this knowledgeable, please like the video, share it amongst your friends, and if you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. If you have any kind of doubt, let me know in the comment section, or if you want us to cover a specific topic, again reach out to me through my LinkedIn handle, mail or comment section, and we will do our best to provide you with the information you want. Bye guys, and thanks for watching the video till the end. See you in the next video.